Hello, welcome everyone to Python regex study series. Today we will be learning about regular expression basics. So in our team, Karen Wong would be our speaker and she will be presenting the whole series. I'm Mansi and we have Katrina as well over here. So we both are supporting Karen in the studies group. Karen is a senior programmer of a research and development company based in Hong Kong. Over the past 5 years, she has been dealing with data in various aspects, with database quality, data analytics to machine learning. She uses Python and JavaScript to solve work problems and loves using SQL with relational databases. Coming from a non-CS university major, she learned to love coding and hope to share with others the fun of coding as well. Over to you, Karen.
Thank you, Mansi, for the introduction. Thank you for joining, everyone. Give me 1 second to share my slides. All right. Okay. Everyone seeing my screen well? Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, thank you again, Mansi, for the introduction. Just a quick shout out for Mansi, a team member who's like having to preparing their questions, like prepping like their upcoming exercise, and also Katerina here. She would be actually helping to present as well. So you guys are gonna learn a lot from her as well. So just a spoiler alert, like here on the Regex series. So let's start with the regular expression. So question for you all. Have you heard of regular expression? If yes, is this like what do you think, like what do you know about regular expression? And if not, what do you picture regular expression as? I just want to get a hint, like just get a hint, like how is everyone like knowing like about like regular expression? Hey, Julia, I love your answer. Thank you. Thank you. I was the same. You're not wrong too. But don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. So I promise. I promise. Yes, 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 Ebony. Yes. Yes. Strings and searches. Yes. Oh, Carolina, you already get a head start. Good. That's good. Oh, that's nice. You guys got a hang of like, where is this? Like, what is it like? How does it sound like? But it's good. Okay. Good to know. Thank you. Thank you for the mini survey. So, actually, before I start talking about regular expression, I kind of want to use this time to kind of demystify on something very simple yet like we oversee. So let me start with a regular human language. So when we talk, right, when we see a picture of cookie, uh, we see a picture of cookie, we understand this is a cookie as an English speaker. And like let's say if you're like a Spanish speaker, you might understand it as like, let, let me try to boost it, like butcher it. La quieta, I think it's got la quieta. And then if you speak French, you'd be like biscuit. So it's like, so basically, if we understand cookie, it's like so we all see a picture of cookie, so we understand this is cookie, and we accept this is how do we call it as cookie. And between the language, like it's actually many different way. So now that we have translation, now that like we don't need to see picture anymore to understand what is cookie in French or what cookies in Spanish. So like we actually have a Google Translate. We have a translator to like actually direct translate. Like just type in Google, hey, what is cookie in Spanish, which is what I did exactly. Like, so there's a lot of translation. It's very, because like it's very convenient nowadays, so we don't realize cookie is actually go back to the picture, which is a pattern here. Like, we see it as a pattern. Okay, it's brown shape, and then it's like round shape, it's a little puff. That's how we recognize a cookie. And then for a Spanish speaking person, it's translated to la quieta. So keep that in mind. How machine is dealing with cookies. Let's put it that way. So machine is understanding, like we don't realize it because it's pretty convenient nowadays, but what it happens inside the machine's brain, like their processor, is cookies as a word is translated to a whole bunch of number, basically a way that that like the machine can understand, which is like 0101, it's stores in bytes, it's stores in like the format they understand. So this is like called encoding. This is like from cookies, from what we see COOKIES, to machine understanding this is cookie, this is encoding. And machine, on the other hand, if you type the exact same word on Microsoft Word, it shows up like the exact same phrases, like COOKIES. Why? Because like from the 01010101, it decodes as cookies. COOKIES. So this is a process like we don't see it at all until you deal with like program, like if you're like doing with programming coding. That's what it's just a hint, just a slightly like introduction. This is what compiler is for. So it's actually to like basically pack it as a translator to a way machine understands, and the machine does it, like machine does its job. But like in this way, in Microsoft Word way, it's just as also displaying what you're trying to say and the way that machine understands. So I'm going to take so this is just like how machine is understanding our so-called our language. So I just want to give you guys a little in case you're new to like the tech, or like a very like just never dealt with programming language, just keep that in mind, because this is the core. Basically, this is like the basic core of regular expression. Like, it's when you see something, when you get frustrated, like you see cookies, when you type the language, it doesn't know, it doesn't understand. The process involved is a lot behind, is a lot, so it takes a lot of time and patience to understand and actually make it like practice and like make it like more fluent, and then it just takes a lot of patience. So is everyone good here? Kind of? Not really. That's good, thank you. Okay, all right. Let's move on. Okay, so let's start with regular expressions. Yay. Okay, so we start with something called regular language. So regular language is not the language we know. It has nothing to do with English. It's nothing to do with Spanish. It's something actually, I'll talk about a little bit history about that afterwards. So like I'm gonna introduce like regular language itself first. So it's a set of rules that find like specific patterns can be recognized in like a finite state machine. Okay, a very short introduction, very short introduction of finite state machine. It's like basically it tried to recognize something as a pattern in the sense, but like because back then we're talking about like 1940s. It's the computation, like you can picture like there's no video streaming, there's no Zoom. I mean, you're lucky if you can touch a computer. So the memory is a very limited like the computation memory is very limited, and it's also very restricted. But why did it start? Because they want to recognize they want to regulate, they want to recognize some pattern. And the pattern is actually not for a text. It's not for Apple or cookies that we see. It's actually for our neural network, like machine learning. But we will go through about that. But that's how regular language, what is regular language. So regular language actually is the based on like the regular expression is born from the regular language. So with that, what exactly is the regular expression, or regex, like I would call? So it's a set of like especially like encoded text string uses a pattern to match like a set of string to find something. So it's a notational regular expression. So you will see like down like just like example below. Yes. And then like it's a lot of like, we understand it's like brackets, we understand it's this, but we don't know what it is. We don't know what it's trying to do. We don't know what it's trying to say. But this is the purpose of this course. I mean, just study group, so to make sure like, oh, okay, let's get familiar with, let's like hands on. So it's the language, it takes time to learn. But don't worry, we'll get a hang of it and we'll practice together a lot. Okay, a little bit history stuff. So let's give me 1 second. So just a little history, like why regex is regex, because regular expression has a lot of different form. So I kind of want to give everyone a little background why regex become like nowadays regex and why there's so many forms. So back in the 1940s, like I said, like where computer, it was like you have to be very special to touch a computer. So a neuroscientist and a logician published like a first medical model for like artificial neurons. So like it is the born with like they were doing it for like artificial intelligence originally. And then in the 1950s, a mathematician used this pattern, this model, and formula a equation in algebra, which is the born of regular expression. And then 10 years later, so someone like, a person called Tan Thompson realized, okay, so now like these regular expression is actually like, you can find pattern. Yes, you can find pattern and the nuance on the, like, let's say the machine learning and artificial intelligence and neural networks, but you can also use in text. And then, so that's why he implement this set of rules, like this model to on text searches. That's how the regex is born. So when the regular expression on text is discovered, everyone was very, very excited. Everyone like, just grab the simple model, like the model, and then experiment in like different way. Everybody is like doing their own thing. This fact that this is hard to do conferences, it's hard to like, sync up like what is going on. Let's say if I'm doing it like in the US, it's very different from like the way it's started doing in Europe. So with that, and then also the enterprises want to like, I'm gonna put this money on research. So I'm like, we're gonna develop our own way to do stuff. So that's just how regular expression actually it's like SQL. If you know SQL, it looks like the same language. There's tons of dialects, tons and tons of dialects. So these dialects, I would call, it's actually more frequent than you think. So I was like, let's say if you're doing programming language, if you want to search a file, basically anything with searches, anything with text searches, even you open like a file explorer to search, it has to do with regular expression. It is basing on this like regular expression. So couple of things that like is like very popular still, which I'm still using these days, is these four. So you don't see this because it is like it's either implement on like it's mostly implemented on the search engine, like for like I mean for the stuff like you know, the using the program you're using, or like if you actually you're with me, I'm a terminal person. What is a terminal? Terminal is like where like the command prompt of the window. So like it's like a little back screen with the white text. So when I search things, I love to use the terminal, like the terminal to search stuff. So it's very easy. And then it's just like you can find stuff like right away. Also, it's like another good thing is like to replace the text. Like so this. So these are the four like one of like the four popular ones that like is still using it. Some of this is actually really old. One of them is actually very old. But then like for some reason it's still using it these days. You would think like evolve to something better and then be completely replaced. No, it's still happening. So just want to get a hang. Just want to give you guys some snapshots like how it looks like. So let's say if like a regular like if like a lot of like the symbols, what we call meta characters. So like for these ones, they are the same. But then like for how like we define boundaries, define like and or like operators, like groupings, like they're like a completely different. So keep in mind if you're doing regular expression, you find like you it work one way. Like one of you said like you are doing regis in another language, like it might work one way, but it doesn't work like on, let's say it might work differently on Python because of the dialects. So more a little bit more information about dialects. So regular like so why dialects? Like you mean like no dialects is something people created and just like talk, right? Just like that's how they used to it. So computer in computer word, there's a base. That's all everything has like a base, has a core. So the core of different dialects is actually a Regex engine. So I just want to introduce like a really briefly today. So what is the engine? So picture a car, you can have like I mean how BMW made this car and or how and like a Mercedes like made this car is like completely different, but they're still a car, right? So like it's reflect so basically Regex engine is like reflects like how a pattern is exactly matched through a text search test is computed in a little time. So the two fundamental ones, the original two, I would say the OG2 is the DFA and NFA. So the difference between a DFA and NFA, the major difference is how they start searching stuff. Like how they like one of them will search in every single pattern. One of them will search the pattern. Once they satisfy with the pattern, it stops. So I'm not gonna go through too much about this because regular language, regular engine, like the stuff that I mentioned above, they are all a study topic. They are each of them is all academic topic. So if you're interested, like let's say if you're not too familiar with programming, but then you're interested in knowing like how like the language you want to learn a new language, you want to know how is it from like a linguistic, like in a linguistic perspective, I would strongly recommend you to study a little, like study a bit of it and like get a hang of it. It's not coding, it's really just finding patterns, understanding like how is the history about it. It's to me it's quite interesting, but I don't want to put like too much on the slide. And also I don't want like I don't know actually myself, I don't know Regis as much. I'm really just learning through the process like everybody else. So like if you guys are interested on any of the topics, like feel free to suggest it, feel free to like like dive into it and then learn more. All right, so just so if you guys not familiar with Regis, which I'm one of them actually. So what can Regis do? Let's back down. Let's back to Earth. Let's go back to Earth. This is like history. We talk about history, talk about a lot of like stuff that we might not understand. Okay, so power of Regis. So a lot of valuable information lying within the textual data. So if you're doing data analytics, you're dealing with a lot of numeric data, the numbers, but the text data are actually a lot more complicated to do. And it's like, if you like getting insights and stuff, which is what happened in my work, it's the textual data is a lot more valuable. Just picture you will write a customer like a short, like a example. If you want to tell the store is good, if you want to, let's say, appraise someone like, oh, she's doing really good job, like why she's doing a good job and stuff, like why she's like, where does she work, like how does she treat me, like you will write it on a Microsoft Word. You would not write it on an Excel sheet, which is like 010, like, like, okay, give her a score of 5. Okay, cool. What can you tell me with that? I don't know. So textual data, especially any of you, if it's very interested in data analytics, this is the way you should start. I'm being very honest. It's a lot more rich in terms of information. You find the information that like it's just very valuable. Like speaking of a personal experience. So yeah, so Regis like it's the line of a lot of like the new oil and within the data lake, like the textual data, like Regis can help you to find more information on in terms of insight. So with Regis, you're becoming more powerful on the textual data. So just curious, our audience, like any of you are interested in data analytics or in data analytics field? Oh, nice. That's good. Oh, sorry, it's my audio really laggy. I'll speak for slow. Oh, Chelsea, good for you. Yes, it's important. Like, good for you. Good for you. Oh, we have a lot of data analytics people here. Cool. Oh, well, then, like, I mean, textual data is very, very important to explore. To find it helps you to understand like pattern as well, like how things are forming patterns and stuff. So I see some of you are doing like clinical like research data and like health player analytics. Like let's say if you go it's like a survey side, then this is definitely helpful. If it's like a let's say like image, like because like finding patterns is the core of machine learning as well. It's really the core of like machine learning. So finding patterns, it is the way to like to either like classify, like how do you, like that's how it forms the way that like we want to call it machine learning, like classifications and stuff. So this is finding patterns. This is just like another way of finding patterns. All right, let's like, oh yes. Katerina's like, yes, it's really helpful to like double check stuff. It's just super helpful. So anything with text, please go through Regis. I think that's the one thing like me and Katerina we were talking about, like we were like, yep, everything you need to go through Regis. Like it's just so fundamental. It's just so it's just very, very powerful. Like this tool is a little bit overlooked compared to like a lot of like machine learning models, but like this is like super powerful. Okay, let's do a little bit like snapshot of what Regis is. Now that I talk about like the history and stuff. Okay, so let's start with this cookies. Okay, so if I wanted, this is like, so the left column is like how we write the regular expression to Regis. So basically, if you see COOKIE, it's like start scanning from the beginning and then go to COOKIE. So that's how it does. So when you do like chocolate chip cookie, yummy. I'm waiting for breakfast. This is the morning time for me. This is so chocolate chip cookie works, but shortbread cookie, if I miss, they have a typo, that's what validation is for. The cookies, like, okay, it doesn't work. Like, because because it doesn't start with a C. So C is for cookie. Okay, C, it's because just because one letter is missing, the pattern is not findable. So that's why when you see the last one and when the second one, the third one. So because cookie, you have to be exacting match to find this, like define the word. So that's why it comes to like it has like a little other symbols, like other punctuations we use regularly to help to formula the way that like we can search it like in more like extended ways. So for example, the anchor COO means like you start from COO. So anything starts with COO is good. So let's say cookie bars, because it starts, because the beginning of the letter starts with COO. So it's like awesome. Okay, so but then why chocolate chip cookie doesn't work? It has like COO there, because it does not start with the COO from the beginning of the night. It starts with CHO. So this is like so let's say, I mean like it's very obvious here, cookie and cookie is here. But when you search like tons of text, like let's say if you're reading an essay, you want to find something, or you want to find a very valuable information in a textbook, the way that starts, like, you know, like you don't remember, let's say if you don't remember like the word exactly how this spells, but you know it starts with something, this is very helpful. This is like super duper helpful. So vice versa, so this is like the end of line. So basically anything ends everything ends with cookie works. So it has to be like COOKIE, and then it's like the end of line. So this, I'm almost using my hand. This works because it ends the phrase ends with cookie. But this doesn't work because it doesn't end with cookie. Okay. Hopefully you can for you to don't know Regex, hopefully digest enough a little bit. Okay. So let's see, like, okay, so like I mentioned before, we use like a lot of like special punctuations to formulate how we want the search pattern to happen. So these special characters, these punctuations that we use, is called meta characters. So meta characters basically represent like how the regular expression happens. So it could be star, which is like multiplier, question mark is the or operation, and the dollar sign, which is like we just saw, is the end of line. So a set of characters. So basically, so beside using the punctuations, we can use like something /W/D, which means like their meta sequence for introduction, and their word is like so anything with word, basically anything alphabet, if you use like Python, it's alpha. So this is like word and this is digit. So it's like just like a representation, like a slash something for representation on the pattern itself. So the very famous one, which I did not list here, is /n. It's /n. Sorry, /n. // Okay, /n. /n is raise new line. So if you're doing a lot of CSVs, if you're doing a lot of if you ever process a text like in couple paragraphs, in multiple paragraphs, in any form of language, that's the new line. Like you will definitely encounter new line. slash n. That slash n is actually a meta, like is part of meta sequence, the gain in the regular expression. Okay, so beside meta character and meta sequence, like we have something called literal test. It's basically putting COOKIE as in a term, like, so basically it has to be exact test, it has to be this. So there's the different ways. There's the way to identify what is like you have to tell the computer when are you using meta character and when are you using meta sequence. So just keep that in mind. All right. Oh yes, yes. Okay. How does everyone feel about Regex? Still a little confused? It's easy, right? It's easy to understand, right? Feeling okay? Feeling you can feeling easy? Everyone? That's good. That's good. Oh, Rena, no, it's good. That's good. So if regular expression, like we talk about really big words, like, you know, complicated history. So when you start, so the thing about Regex is why this workshop is created, why this like study group is created is, it for me, from my personal experience, it looks really simple. Just like if you look at like cookie and COO and COOK, like COOKIE with the dollar sign. If it's one by one, and I get some little practice, understand, memorize it like a language memorizes the grammar rule. This is exactly like grammar rule. You recognize it, you understand it, you know how to use it. One by one, it's relatively straightforward. But you mix them together, like how I put that ridiculous thing there. And can anyone guess? It's a little obvious, but can anyone guess what this pattern is trying to do? Can anyone take a little guess? Just a little guess. A little guess. So look at
It's got months in there.
Look at the word that you. Yes, yes, yes. Katarina gave a very big hint. Yes, so this, right, okay, Verily, like good call, good call. So basically, this is to actually find, like trying to find it. I just copied from Stack Overflow. This is to trying to find any types of dates and any types of like in different formats. So you know how we write the day, it could be like month, day, year, day, month, year, or like, or write in short term like January, we do Jan, or like 0, 1 and 1. So this, the person that's trying to create a regular expression, maybe not the most efficient one, but what they're trying to do is to actually cover all sort of like variation of the day of a
Yeah,
date.
it has a February. It looks like February is doing leap years even, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I think it covered the February 29th, I think.
Yeah, so like valid dates.
Yes. So if you see this pattern, it's very confusing. But like what we're trying to do is like to look at it one by one. Let's say, for example, we learn from this. We just learned that like the anchor starts from 0. Like it's like starting of the line, right? And the end is started with like a dollar sign. It ends with a dollar sign. So we learned this and this. So basically on this puzzle, and this big puzzle, we solved the first and the land already. I know it doesn't reach it anything. It doesn't tell you anything. It seemed very obvious, but when you look at this, that's how the reader can tell, because if you see anchor here, you see anchor here. and you see anchor here. So it's actually couple patterns that group together. So it's about finding patterns. So everyone can recognize that pattern with the anchor. Like, but then if you're more familiar with it, then you can see it actually is like forming a couple patterns here because they want to find something at the beginning of line and the end of line. So basically the syntax itself, the grammar itself takes a little bit time to digest because it's just like any other language, any other language. So, and it also takes tons of practice to understand. So when you want to include, just keep in mind when you want to include a lot of like pattern, like you're looking for specific things, which is good. But if you're like looking for like a lot of things that they include, let's say singular and plural, you're already starting with a pattern there because not everything ends with an es and not everything ends with an s. So what we can do is really to just practice, take it one by one and solve it and learn it and remember it and then start using again. So just a little tip. So it's ending. So like this one I'm going to talk about today. So just a little tips and tricks when you practice registers with us. So you really need to spend some time. I think personally, I think it's more fun because at least you're dealing with, like, let's say any of you is scared of math. This is not math. It is the base. The base is based on math. Yes, it is a mathematical formula. Yes, it coming from a mathematical formula, but at least you can understand, okay, if I'm finding an apple, it's not showing apple. Why? So it's a good way to practice. It's a way that we don't find it as discouraging because of math to practice like what's going on. So and also another tips and trick, space is always the trickier thing that you don't see but it shows. So so keep in mind, like when you put out space, it's very sticky. So with some of them, like you know, like it's interesting, like, and some characters you would think like it doesn't start with a space. You don't always start with an A or always start with like an alphabet or number, but like in computer world, it store everything the way as it is. So when you like accidentally put a space in the front or the end, it affects the whole match. You would think this is something very easy to realize, but like it happens it happens more often than you think. So like because of that, I actually start not using space and like use underscore and everything else instead. So it's just a little memory. It's just a scar, a little scar in a little coding era, in my little coding career. But like just keep in mind, space matters. It really matters. It's sneaky as heck. So that's the end of the boring presentations. We have like a couple minutes left. Any questions? So we will, Katerina, you want to help us answering some questions as well, since you're here?
Sure.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll take the first one. I see Merly, and it's anchoring like concatenating or piping data. You mean at the anchor is the symbol, right, Merly? Just let me clarify with that.
That's the anchors are the beginning and the end. So beginning and end of line.
So it's just like it's not concatenating anything. It's actually just represent, like basically tell. It's like give the pattern a orders, like, okay, start of the line. So when you want to search, like let's say we want to search something like when you want to search something like in between, you don't want to use this anchor. But like if you want to, like, okay, everyone needs to start. Okay, I want to find, let's say in a paragraph, I want to know if the person writes the sentence starting with I, like I am something, I did this, I did that. So what would you do is to anchor I, and then that's how you start it. So it's more it's less imitating the start, the anchoring, but then like it's useful when you want to find something with like at the beginning of the sentence. Any other questions so far?
Karen, I'll add someone sent me a private message because I think I mentioned in our Zoom description about like fun Regex games. I know you and Katarina discussed potential ones. Do you maybe want to share some links, and we can also post them in our Slack channel too?
Yes, Katarina shared me a lot of fun Regex games. One of them was playing last night. It's called Regex Golf. We will be having a GitHub repository to keep everything in. It's almost ready, so I'm gonna discuss with the team and then push some useful resources and like the fun games on there as well. So just keep I will keep you guys posted on this. But like we'll definitely post like on the fun games and like get used to it. Like I think Katarina has like is definitely more expert on mine in this sense. Like I'm like a boring person. It's like, oh okay, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna find the days? Like she found like she found a lot of resources that like it makes like registry really more fun. So that we would definitely post it. Yes. Chelsea, we will be talking about fuzzy matching in this series. We won't be talking about fuzzy matching in this series, but everything we do in this series has to do with fuzzy matching. So fuzzy matching is, from my understanding, is like to basically like it's, let's say, let me put it in a very high level. It's a formulation. It's just like it's a way, like it's like I think it is this method. It's a technique that like is built from regular expression, from my understanding. So if you do like, we won't be talking about like how fuzzy matching is doing, but we basically talking about like how, let's say, I think same as like we talking about like any other language with using regular expression or like anything based on it. So everything is based on regular expression. So if you learn more about the regular expression, fuzzy matching, it should be relatively very straightforward, based on experience. So if you understand more like how is it like the score as well. So we will talk about a little bit about fundamental. We won't talk about the distance and how it calculate, how is the stuff. Sorry, I mix it up. So we won't talk about the distance. We will talk about like how it's matching like between the two phrases. Yes. Yes, Merrily, the example the complicated example that we saw is you can call it would that call it a Regis command? I think so. I think you can call it that. We'll call it like a pattern, like right, like a grammar in a way, to tell the engines, like tell like basically the computer what would do. Katerina, do you have any?
Yeah, it's a pattern, and basically you can use that pattern in various ways, like using Python for an example. Python has a number of functions that allow you to find matches or searches in a number of different ways. You can like replace things. You can replace the first match. You can replace all the matches. Like it's very flexible. So once you have a solid pattern, then you can do a good amount of stuff with it.
I agree.
I just gonna add one last question. Karen, Katarina can answer this one. I know like we send the description like what the kind of entire series about. I know like maybe have like 5 sessions planned. Did you want to briefly touch on like what people can expect next in the next session?
Oh yes, yes, yes. So the way this series uh is is designed is to really just to like break this giant pattern into bites and pieces so we understand and practice it. So our series is gonna base on how these characters, like each character is. We want to understand like where are they from, like Metacharacter. We want to like we will spend the couple of sessions to understand what each meta character and meta sequence is. I haven't even mentioned about the method. There are a lot of things that I actually didn't mention in this introduction slide. So like grouping, back referencing, this terms. Like I don't want to throw in like too much first. So we start with like something simple. We understand what each character means, how they use it, and how they use it in different situations. Once you get practice and get used to it, and then we will go, step by step and knowing, okay, this is what we do. This is how we do groupings and stuff. So, the next couple sections, what we wanted to do is to talk about the introduction of certain meta characters or meta sequence, and then talk about and then the method, and then we do tons of exercise, just tons of exercise to get used to it. So because this is the only way, only way to get used to regular expression.
Our second session will be March 9th, but we'll still be like posting stuff like in the chat channel, in Slack. This video will be uploaded to YouTube. I don't know if like Karen or Katarina upload like homework questions, like practice stuff like we can brush up on. So when we see each other again, we'll like, be ready and roaring to go.
Yes, I posted a number of resources in the Slack channel. So like, please join and, play with it and ask some questions, and we'll have some fun with Regex.
Oh, that's great. I guess we can wrap up the session. Karen, you're joining from Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us during like your early morning hours. Appreciate it. And thank you, Katarina, for joining us like middle of the week. I keep thinking today's Friday. No, it's like Thursday. But I see everyone posting chat like thank you. The clues. Sing love Hong Kong. Yeah. Karen, Katarina, Liza. Yeah, and thank you like to Mansi. I know Mansi's also like a grad student, so she's also like doing a lot of stuff in the background too, and I really appreciate her help with Blue Code. Yeah, right, Mansi?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a great session. Enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Very good. Thank you for helping out.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karen, for organizing this event. You and Katarina, everyone on the team.
Yeah, no, Karen.
Yeah, yay! Great. So I guess we can wrap it up. Wow, we finished on time today. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone wherever you are, and we'll see you at our next Blue Code Python event. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye everyone.